welcome on the multiple-time champion player for the New York Subliners, ZooMaa. ZooMaa, did you get a call from your dad after the victory on Sunday?
Of course. My dad is always watching the matches. It was a little late for him over in Italy, but I woke up to a lot of voice messages, and he's just super proud and super hyped. So it was cool to hear.
That's awesome. I always love to see Papa ZooMaa kind of pop up on my Twitter feed from time to time. Hear a few of the messages and whatnot. But listen, I know it's kind of difficult to celebrate, just kind of given the way the world is unfortunately working at the moment. But did you and the team kind of get a chance to do anything after the win?
No, nothing. We started practicing the next day actually. So like we didn't go and like celebrate at all. We hung out, obviously, and we watched back the match, and we had a good time like watching back, the win. And it was a good event for us. We were super proud of each other and really happy. But we didn't like go crazy or celebrate or anything like that. We went right back to work.
That's good to hear. Now, I got to ask you something really quick. I kind of have to put to bed this tweet that I saw from Reppin, obviously one of the coaches for the Rocker, on this idea that Accuracy, despite living in the same apartment as Mac, had yet to introduce himself. Enlighten me, ZooMaa. What's the deal behind this?
No, Lamar and Mac had definitely hung out before. I don't know if he ever introduced himself or what, but yeah, that's something you gotta ask Mac, because I actually have no idea. But when Mac came to New York, I introduced myself, and I went up there and said it was good, and it was really cool. It was really cool to bring him on board for sure.
I'll maybe have to say that for maybe a future Mac interview, kind of ask him maybe the details behind it. Now, something that was kind of interesting at the New York home series, obviously, was in fact the amount of M4s that we ended up seeing from different teams. Many kind of thought maybe we'd see 2 M4s. It turned out to be 3. Now, I was kind of under the impression, I think along with a few other commentators and analysts as well, that the Subliners would most likely have, obviously, Accuracy, Temp on the M4, and then maybe Attach. However, it was Mac to be the one to pick it up. What kind of went into the decision to make Mac the 3rd M4?
Yeah, so one thing that we noticed with the M4 is that it just kind of felt like a do-it-all gun, like a gun where you can run around and get kills. It wasn't playing out like the beginning of the game, so you even saw players like Simp from FaZe who pulled out the M4 just because it was a type of gun where he could run around and get kills. So for Mac, he's young, he's talented, and we just want him to be comfortable, and he really liked the M4. He can do whatever he wants on the map, go wherever he wants, and he doesn't have to worry about taking a long route or doing some of the dirty work where I could do some of that stuff, or Dylan's really good at, doing stuff like that, like little weird stuff. So we just want Mac to be comfortable and do his thing and get kills, because that's what he's best at, and he's been doing a great job.
Did it kind of feel kind of like history a little bit with you and ZooMaa, or rather, excuse me, with you and Attach kind of back on the SMGs? Yeah,
it felt good, and especially to win too. I mean, to come home with the event win and just to watch it back and see me and Dylan running around with subs, it was a good sight to see. It brought back a lot of memories for sure.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think in terms of at least Mac, obviously you guys win, but in terms of kind of getting back to that Mac thing, it clearly worked, right? I think dropped like a 1.22 KD for the weekend, but kind of without being too specific, do you think we'll see 3 M4s at London this weekend?
Yeah, definitely. I think the M4 is just really powerful right now, and I think you can do a lot with it when it's in your hands. So, I'm definitely positive that you'll see teams with 3 M4s for sure. Maybe 4. A lot of teams, depending on the maps or the hills or whatever, people switch based off hills, but you might see 4 out. People like to pull it out because you can hold lanes really easily. So we'll see what happens. It's still fresh. Like, we're still practicing with 10mm now on the MP5, and just trying to see how the meta is and what changes and what stays, and we'll just go from there.
Now, kind of getting back quickly to your victory, obviously, in what area did your team impress you the most this weekend?
I think it was just our teamwork. Watching back the games, we were all on point. Our communication was really on point, and it clearly helps when you're working together as a team and your communication is there. So I definitely think that put us over the edge for sure.
What did the Subliners do right versus the Huntsmen in the rematch?
I think we just played our game and we didn't make many mistakes. Watching it back, like mistakes that we made in other events, I've always said after our loss, like, we're just making mistakes that we can't make. And if we can go back and just make sure that we fix these mistakes, we can definitely win event. And that's exactly what we did. We went back, we went over our mistakes, and going back, looking at the event, we fixed everything. And we didn't make those same mistakes anymore, and it showed. We won the event and we played well, and we're just super excited, super hyped.
Now, kind of in terms of the major championship conversation, I have to ask you, where does this victory get put for you?
It's hard to say because it was online. You know, a lot of people have their complaints about it being online and
Sure.
this and that. To me, you know, everybody's under the same thing. Everybody's playing online. Everybody has to deal with the same problems. And I just feel like we're lucky enough to even keep this league going. So for me, it's just another competition.
Mhm.
And it was another win for me. I count it as a win. Some people don't count it. Some people do. But to me, it was just a tournament, and I go out there no matter what, whether it's online or on stage, and you know we're playing for something, and I want to make sure that we win, and we won, and you know I'm happy we won, and I take pride in winning. We put in a lot of time and a lot of work, and we practiced really hard, so you know we earned it, and I don't want
Mhm.
anybody to take that away from us. And if they do, they do. But you know, to me, like I know that we earned it, and you know I'm very proud of myself and the team.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think kind of you and the Subliners now obviously will be playing in the London home series coming up this weekend. ZooMaa, I don't necessarily want to ask you anything about teams kind of in your group, but I'll instead ask you a little bit about about a team in Group A. In particular, we'll be seeing the new OGLA roster, obviously making their debut. What your teammate Accuracy spoke kind of highly of them the other day on stream. Kind of from what you've experienced, from what you've heard, what can we expect to see out of Optic this weekend?
Well, they picked up Hollow and Draza, who are two really talented amateur players. I've played against them before, and I think they're really good. And I just think that they knew this game really well, and that was something that Optic needed, like a couple players that will work as a team and help them learn the game and help them understand how to play it and how to win. And, you know, Optic has a lot of talent with TJ, Kenny, and Slasher, obviously. So
Mhm.
bringing on two guys who are also talented and know how to play the game. We've been playing them, you know, the past couple weeks. We played them a few times, and they look really good. You know, I can't lie. They definitely improved a lot, and you got to give them props. And hopefully they show up this weekend. We'll see. I mean, I know they're my competition, so I don't
Sure.
want them to win, but you know, we'll see what happens. They're a great team, and we'll see what happens.
Sure. Now, kind of looking even farther ahead than London is the 2020 Call of Duty League playoffs as well as the championship weekend. And I kind of want to get your thoughts on a few of these things, ZooMaa. We'll kind of start first with the prize pool breakdown, as 4.6 million is still the overall prize pool. However, we did see kind of a sizable shift when it comes down to first and second, as I believe it was $600,000 has now been shifted to kind of increasing the money for third through 10th. Kind of given that the CDL has to be online, what did you kind of make about the changes made to the prize pool?
I think they want to give everybody a little something just because of how the year's gone, and
Hmm.
maybe they just want to treat other people more fairly because you know a lot of people put in a lot of time to this stuff, so they want to make sure everybody gets rewarded. And for me, it's more about the trophy more than the money, honestly.
Hmm.
You know, money comes and goes, and obviously the money's really good, and I'm not going to complain of, you know, I'm not going to, you know, say anything like that. Like I obviously am very blessed to be playing for a lot of money, and it's very
Sure.
cool. But I think it's cool that they're helping out the rest of the teams. I know a lot of pro players were upset about it because you know they want more money or they think they deserve most of the earnings. But it's a tough decision, honestly. But I don't make the decisions. I just get on every day, practice, go hard, and do what I got to do. And whatever money I make is whatever I make. I just love what I do,
Hmm.
and I enjoy doing it. So I'm just gonna keep doing that.
Sure. And quickly kind of on note with that. Secondly, the kind of the grand finals will now be a best of 9. The team coming from the winner's side will hold a 1-0 advantage. Kind of a unique system, one that we've seen in somewhat of a similar way used back in the day. What's kind of your feelings on the new best of 9 format for the grand finals?
I'm gonna be honest. I just really don't get it. I just feel
Hmm.
like a one map advantage coming out of winners is really not that big of a deal. I mean, I've won tournaments coming out of losers having to win 2 best of 5s.
Yeah.
And now we just need to win one map coming out of losers, and you're already tied with the winning, you know, with the winning team. So it's a
Sure.
fair like straight on series after that. So I just think one map is not enough. I just feel like it should be a little bit more. I honestly feel like they should have just kept it the old style, just like 2 best of 5s or 2 best of 7s or however they wanted to do it. But like I said, I don't make the rules, and it's not going to change anything on my end. I'm still going to go hard
Hmm.
and compete and do what I got to do. So it was
Right.
a little weird, but it is what it is.
Now, what's important to note, right? Kind of from a player standpoint, something that maybe the average fan wouldn't really know. What's important to note about the difference between a regular best of 5 now to a best of 9 with kind of game modes being thrown around? From a player's perspective, what's different about a regular best of 5 to a best of 9 that maybe a lot of fans aren't really aware of?
Well, with two best of fives, you usually have like a little break after the first series. Like you win a series and then you take a break and then you readjust and you talk about stuff and then you come back. But a best of nine, I just feel like is a long, gruesome series. Like
Yeah.
who knows what's gonna happen? Map after map after map after map. So we'll see what happens, but. It could be over very quickly, or it could go on for hours because it's 9 maps. It's a lot of maps. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Sure. Now, kind of last question for you. How many times a day do you get tweeted the "Yo, Tommy, we gotta go" meme?
Oh my God, 100 times every single day. And I see it in the chat, the YouTube chats every single time I'm watching the event. Like people love that meme. So I don't know how that meme blew up out of proportion. I think it's because the commercial's been played so many times, but it is really funny. And I do play along with it sometimes. So it's funny to me.
It's good. It's good. Well, that's ZooMaa, multiple-time champion player for the New York Subliners. ZooMaa, thanks so much for taking the time to join us. Congrats on the victory, and best of luck to you and the team coming into London.
Appreciate it. Thank you for having me.